Algebra 1 Study Guide number 6. The first 5 problems are multiple choice. Which property of whole numbers is illustrated by the statement 49 times 20 equals 20 times 49? Well, the first thing I can do is eliminate any property of addition because this is obviously multiplication. And then we just have to decide if it's commutative or if it's associative. Well, associative is going to regroup it. We have no parentheses here, and commutative just turns the numbers around. So it's going to be A, the commutative property of multiplication. Number 2. Which property of whole numbers is described by the statement 6 plus x in parentheses plus y equals 6 plus in parentheses x plus y? Well, you notice the numbers stay in order. 6 plus, and the variable, 6 plus x plus y equals 6 plus x plus y. Well, that can't be anything that has anything to do with multiplication. Multiplication's gone, multiplication's gone. So it's got to be either commutative or associative. Well, commutative would be turning them around. Well, we kept them in the same order, and associative is simply grouping them different, and that's what we did. So it's going to be the associative property of addition. Number 3. We've got 3x to the 5th plus 5 times this parentheses, 3x to the 5th minus 4b to the 4th. So let's leave 3x to the 5th here, and let's distribute our 5 to each one of these terms. Order of operation. So we've got positive 15x to the 5th, and then positive times negative is going to give you a negative 25b to the 4th. Now if you put your like terms together, you have 3x to the 5th and 15x to the 5th, so you have 18x to the 5th minus your 25b to the 4th. Okay, can't be this one because they treated it like multiplication and added their exponents, and we didn't have a 40 anywhere, and this one looks like they forgot to multiply the 5 times the second one. They've got the first term, but they didn't do the second one. So there it is, 18x to the 5th minus 25b to the 4th. Oop, left my 4th off right there. There it is. Okay, which equation demonstrates the identity property of multiplication? Well, these are all multiplication, so we can't eliminate anything that's got addition. Now, identity of anything is where it's going to stay the same. So we're just saying pretty much A times something will leave it A, or in this case they're using B's. So if I take A and multiply it by something to keep it the same, to keep its identity, that number's got to be 1. Well, here they used B. B times 1 equals B, and that's exactly what we're saying over here. Now let's see why these others are wrong. That's commutative property for multiplication. That's the multiplicative inverse, the idea of multiplying by the reciprocal to get it equal to the identity. And then this is your multiplication property of 0. Number 5, got a little more distributing here. We've got 3 times 1. I'm going to put a 1 in front of that. So I've got 3, and I've got 6x's times 5x's, so I have 11x's, and 1y times 4y's, and I have 5y's. Let's see if we can eliminate anything to start with. So we can eliminate both of those. And then we've got 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And then we've got 6x's times 4x's, which is 10x's. And we've got the 1y and no y's. And there's our answer right there. Number 6, we're going to evaluate with x equals 5 and y equals 3. So I'm going to plug in the numbers just like it says. I'm going to put 5, open bracket, negative 3, parentheses, 5 plus 3, close parentheses, close bracket. Okay, order of operations says we do this first. So we'll bring down our 5, bring down our negative 3, and add the 5 plus 3 and get 8. Okay, we still got grouping symbols. So we've got 5 times negative 24. And if we go over and multiply negative 24 times 5, we know it's going to be negative. And we've got 20. And we've got 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. So we get a negative 120. Now your version of the study guide is grouped a little different because I was trying to get it on 2 sheets. But 7 and 8 are over on the right of yours. So I'll do 7 next. And I've got a plus 3 and then some parentheses equals 128. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute my 3. And I'll have a plus 12a plus 24 equals 128. And my suggestion to make it easier is always clean it up before you start moving anything. So 1A plus 12A is 13A plus 24 equals 128. And I'm going to rewrite that over here. Okay. Need to get A by itself, so let's subtract 24. And we get 13A is equal to 104. Divide by 13. And I think if you play with that just a little bit, you'll find that it's going to have to be, see, 13 times 10 would be 130, so that's too big. So it's got to be less than that, but I need it to end in a 4, so let's try 8. And that kind of helps a little bit, and we see that we do get 104. So A is exactly equal to 8. Number 8. Negative 6y minus 5 plus 3y minus 9 equals 16. Well, I'm going to put my like terms together first. So I have negative 6y plus 3y is negative 3y. And I got a negative 5 minus 9 is a negative 14 equals 16. Let's add 14 to both sides. We get negative 3y is equal to 30. Divide by negative 3. And watch your signs, and you'll get y is equal to negative 10. These problems are still on the front of your study guide, even though they're on my second page. Number 9, and I think I'm going to go over here and solve it, so I'll have a little more room. If it's okay with you, I'm going to do a little bit of the work. I'm going to go ahead and distribute my negative 1 to these two. So I've got 2z, and then minus 1 times 3, and then minus 1 times negative z, that's a negative 1z, which would be positive 1z, if you feel more comfortable putting the 1 in front of it, minus 3 equals 3. Putting my like terms together, I have 2z plus 1z is 3z. I have negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6 equals 3. Let's add 6. We get 3z is equal to 9. Divide by 3, and we get z is equal to 3. Number 10. I've got variables on both sides, so I've got to move one of them. And when you have 2 and 1, you're much better off moving this one. It'll save you steps, because I can do minus 1n, and this one's gone, and I have negative 8n is equal to negative 3. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 8, and you'll get n is equal to negative divided by negative is positive, and you get 3/8. And I would just leave it as a fraction. You can do the decimal. I believe it's 0.375, but it's just as easy just to leave it as a reduced fraction. Number 26, number 11, when this is from lesson 26C. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of work it here so I'll have a little more room, and I'll distribute as I go. So I'll bring my 8 plus 16x over, and then I'll distribute negative 3 times negative 4x is positive 12x, and negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. When you have variables on both sides, it's easier if you'll move your variables first. And I'm going to do the minus 12x. You can do either one, the 12x or the 16x. And you'll get 8 plus 4x is equal to 12. Now we're trying to get x by itself, so let's get rid of the 8. And we get 4x is equal to 4. Divide by 4, and we get x is equal to 1. That was number 11. Number 24. I keep saying where I got that one. Number 12. I think it has to do with the answer. Number 12. I'm trying to get rid of the 3/4 to get x by itself. Well, the easiest way to get rid of a fraction is to multiply by its reciprocal. And if you do that on the left, you need to do it on the right. So the 3's and the 4's cancel, and I get x, or 1x, is equal to, and I will write it out, negative 18 times 4/3. And so I can do the arithmetic there in front of you. So I'm going to cancel my 3 and my 18 and get a 6. Now be careful, that's negative 6 times 4, which is negative 24. So x equals negative 24. Okay, you've got a circle graph which represents an entire total